Donald makes $68,000 per year as a project coordinator. His wife Lisa makes $54,000 as a high school teacher. Combined, their household income is $122,000. They have 2 kids, a 3-bedroom house in a decent school district, 2 cars that are paid off, and health insurance through Donald's employer. On paper, they are the definition of middle class. They have everything the American dream promised. But in reality, they are 1 car repair away from credit card debt, 1 medical emergency away from financial catastrophe, and 1 job loss away from losing the house. They have exactly $4,000 in savings. They contribute a measly 3% to their 401k because that is quite literally all they can afford. They haven't taken a real vacation in 4 years. Last month, their washing machine died. They make $122,000 a year, yet they had to finance a $700 appliance over 12 months because they couldn't swing the cash. Think about that. A 6-figure family on a payment plan for a laundry machine. Donald's dad made $42,000 in 1985 as a factory supervisor. Adjusted for inflation, that is about $108,000 in today's dollars. On that single income, Donald's dad supported a family of 4, owned a home, took the family to the beach every single summer, and retired at 62 with a full pension. Donald makes more in absolute dollars than his dad ever did, yet he cannot do any of the things his dad did. The middle class his parents belonged to does not exist anymore. It wasn't destroyed by laziness or bad choices. It was destroyed by math. The costs of being middle class increased 3 times faster than middle class wages, and the gap is now so wide that the middle class has become a performance, a play that families like Donald and Lisa are bankrupting themselves to keep acting out. I am Kevin, and I've spent the last 8 months analyzing why families earning 6 figures are living paycheck to paycheck in a way that would have been impossible 40 years ago. If you feel like you're doing everything right but still falling behind, you aren't crazy. What I'm about to show you is the middle class extinction. It isn't coming. It already happened. You are just living in the aftermath. The first knife, housing. Donald and Lisa take home about $6,500 a month after taxes and insurance. Their mortgage is $2,100, and insurance is another $200. That's $2,750 a month just to keep a roof over their heads. That is 42% of their take-home pay. In 1980, the median home price was $64,000 and median income was $21,000. The house cost 3 times the annual income. Today, the median home price is $417,000 while income is $74,000. The house now costs 5.6 times the annual income. Housing became 87% more expensive relative to what people actually earn. That 14% difference between Donald and his dad represents $338,000 over a 30-year career that Donald will never be able to save. It was eaten by housing inflation. The second knife, healthcare. Healthcare is the second blade. Donald's family insurance costs him $630 a month in premiums out of his paycheck. His employer pays another $900. But here's the kicker. They have a $6,000 deductible. Last year, Lisa needed an MRI that cost $2,400. Insurance paid $0 because they hadn't hit the deductible yet. They put it on a payment plan. Donald's dad in 1980 had a $40 monthly premium and no deductible. Everything was a $10 copay. Healthcare cost his dad $480 a year. It costs Donald over $13,000 a year in premiums alone. That is a 2,700% increase that inflation cannot explain. In 1980, healthcare took 3% of a family's income. Today, it takes 18%. The third knife, childcare. Donald and Lisa have 2 kids. Between pre-K and after-school care, they pay $1,500 a month to $18,000 a year. Donald's mom didn't work, so there was no childcare cost. Today, Donald and Lisa are trapped. They need both incomes to pay the inflated mortgage, but the cost of childcare consumes most of Lisa's take-home pay. After taxes and childcare, Lisa's net contribution to the family is about $17,000. She works a high-stress, full-time teaching job for what amounts to less than minimum wage after you subtract the costs of her being at work. They are running on a treadmill that is speeding up every year. The fourth knife, education. Then there is college. Donald's dad paid for Donald's degree out of his current income because it only cost about 6% of his annual salary. Today, a public university costs about 41% of Donald's annual salary. It is 7 times more expensive relative to wages. Donald has nothing saved for his kids' college. His only options are massive student debt or sacrificing his retirement. In the 80s, you could work a summer job to pay for a semester. Today, you'd have to work 3 full-time jobs simultaneously to do the same. The fifth knife, transportation. Because Donald and Lisa both work in opposite directions, they need 2 cars. In 1980, a single-income family needed 1 car. Today's forced dual-income lifestyle has doubled the cost of gas, insurance, and maintenance. Furthermore, cars themselves are more expensive. In 1980, a new car was 16% of median income. Today, it's 65%. Donald and Lisa drive 12-year-old cars to save money, but old cars break. Every time a check engine light comes on, it's a household crisis. The result, the 5% survival gap. When you add it up, housing, healthcare, childcare, and transportation, you realize these 4 categories alone consume 95% of Donald and Lisa's income. They are left with 5% for food, utilities, clothes, and emergencies. That is $325 a month. It's impossible. So they use credit cards to bridge the gap. They aren't buying Ferraris. They aren't going to Fiji. They are buying eggs, gas, and school supplies. They are living a basic life and still going into debt because the math of the middle class no longer closes. The solution, playing a new game. The psychological weight is the hardest part. Donald feels like a failure because he can't hit the benchmarks of financial health. But those benchmarks were written for his dad's economy. If you are in Donald's shoes, the first thing you have to do is stop the shame. You aren't failing, the system is extractive. Second, you have to make ruthless decisions. If your house takes 42% of your pay, you cannot afford it. You have to move, even if it feels like a step backward. If one parent's salary is mostly going to childcare and commuting, you have to consider the radical move of becoming a single-income household again to save on those costs. You cannot budget your way out of a structural math problem. You have to stop trying to live your parents' life on today's numbers. The middle class extinction happened because the goalposts were moved while we were still running. It's time to stop running the old play and start making radical changes to protect what's left of your peace of mind. I'm Kevin. If this data helps you understand why you're feeling the squeeze, hit that like button. We have to talk about the truth before we can fix the future. I'll see you in the next one.